eBEFOREi video reviews back with a review of Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager Class Thundertron. Now this figure is perhaps my favorite figure that I have on display right now. So we can start and stop the review right here. Favorite figure I have on the shelf today. I mean, Hasbro did a fantastic job and a rather surprising choice to have this figure release into the Transformers Prime line. Why is it a surprising choice? Well, he's not an Autobot, he's not a Decepticon, he is a Star Seeker. What's a Star Seeker? A Star Seeker is like a pirate. They have this vendetta against anyone born from Cybertron. So the Autobots and Decepticons are the enemy of Thundertron. There are no other current Star Seekers released. This guy has not made it yet onto the television show, so a very surprising choice, especially considering that we don't have a Hasbro US release of mainline characters like Smokescreen. So, kind of an odd choice, but I'm telling you what, I am so happy that this figure exists, and I'll tell you what, if you see this guy in store, run and pick him up, and hopefully this review will show you that. Now, getting onto the box, and we'll talk about the figure in detail here in just a moment, but I want to show you this great animation, this great art of his beast mode, of the lion mode of Thundertron. I mean, just awesome. Just fantastic. Really, really cool here. I don't have much else to say about it. He is an incredible looking animated model, and I really, really hope that we get this guy on the show. Now, the symbol. This is the Star Seeker symbol. You can see from the top, kind of looks like a Decepticon symbol. From the bottom, it's a bit like an Autobot symbol, albeit with a thinner chin. And so it kind of takes the two and combines them into its own unique thing, and then crosses these swords underneath it. I don't know if you can see it good in this picture, but gives it that kind of pirate-like, don't mess with me symbol. You see a spaceship flying through with this thing on the side, I'm telling you, you go the other way. Kind of reminds me of some other sci-fi shows that we've seen with space pirates, but, very, very cool. On the side of the box, look at the robot form. I mean, this guy looks like he would come and visit your planet, act real nice to you, and then slice you with the sword. And I believe that actually happened in the Transformers comics. I may be wrong, but I think I recall reading that. Something about with him and the Junkions. But anyway, enough about that. On the other side, we've got a bio.
Ages ago, Thundertron swore that the creatures that caused the destruction of his world would pay for their crimes. Since then, he has wandered space in search of his revenge. His ship is primed, his crew is willing, and at long last, Cybertron is in his sights.
Telling you, don't mess with this guy. Technical data, his strength is a 9, intelligence an 8, speed a 6. You'd think a lion would be faster than a 6, but whatever. Endurance is a 10. You can go all night long. Woo! Rank is a 9. Courage is a 9. Fire Blast an 8. And skill is a 7. On the bottom of the box, hey, there's Shilling Ultra Magnus. Sold separately. He's not hiding in the box. No 2 for 1, people. He is sold separately. So that's really it. He's Voyager Class Series 1 Figure 8. And I could not be more excited about this character. Let's get on to the Lion mode of Thundertron. Alright, so here's the Beast mode of Thundertron, and this is a fantastic lion figure. I mean, in every way possible, this meets my expectations. And my expectations on Transformers figures are usually pretty high. But this guy transforms, first of all, he's a pretty big toy. So, I've been complaining about how the toys are starting to get smaller. And all the different lines are starting to get smaller. This guy kind of bucks that trend a bit, and I think he's a very decent size. Before we get into the detail, just for size comparison, oh yes, there he is next to a vintage 80s die-cast original Voltron model, Blue Lion, of course. And he's quite a bit bigger than the Blue Lion, albeit he's not die-cast. But yeah, Thundertron, quite a bit bigger than the original Blue Lion here. A little show off here in case you've not seen this guy before. Oh yeah, anyway, this is a classic toy, and yes, he converts and forms a big giant Voltron. That's for another time. Comparing him with some other figures, you know, again, here's a Voyager Class Transformers animated Optimus Prime. So although Optimus is thicker, you can see that the size is still, you know, he's pretty big. Next to a deluxe scale figure, there he is next to Deluxe Class Galvatron. So you get the idea, this guy's got some weight to him. Now, I do have his Powerizer weapon, which generally, you know, I hate Powerizer weapons. But it looks okay on him. And you've got the claws on the front of Thundertron here, but on the top of the figure, you know, you've got another claw, which is part of this Powerizer gimmick. And then if you want to do the little goofy thing here, you push this down, and the sword moves to the front of the figure. So that's pretty cool. You know, there's no way to lock it in place. You saw in my Ultra Magnus review, which is part of the same wave, you can lock it in place. So a little bit disappointed, yes, that I can't lock it here, because that would have been pretty neat, especially in robot mode. But in beast mode, yeah, it's okay. It doesn't look bad sitting here. Taking it off, you know, he just looks a bit more like a lion. Now, details on this figure are very awesome. You can see the white plastic in the lion head. The lion mouth does not move, so it's permanently in this I'm gonna eat you pose, which is okay. On top of the lion, you've got these clear translucent blue pieces of plastic which fold down in robot mode. You've got the you've got the Powerizer port here that we just had that thing in. On the side, you've got some blue paint here. And interestingly enough, this is white plastic, this is painted plastic. So you have painted white on possibly blue plastic here, and on this side, I believe you have the reverse with white plastic with blue paint. So interesting choice. On the top, you definitely have blue paint here. You've got some gold trim. You've got what look like translucent red plastic eyes, but I don't think they're translucent. Yeah, in fact, I'm sure they're not. It's just plastic that has kind of a neat sheen to it. So there's that. On the side, you have the absolutely 1000% fantastic Starseeker symbol. I mean, how cool is that? Got the double swords, the combined insignia. Just incredible. The tail, kind of rubbery plastic. Normally I'm not a fan of rubbery plastic on toys. Huge fan of that here. Because unlike swords and weapons that you want to be stiff, you want this guy kind of wagging around when you move him. So very, very neat. Onto the bottom part of the figure, you've got the kind of gold paint motif that carries over. You got the blue kind of beard that's down here for the figure. Underneath him, you don't really have a ton of robot kibble. In fact, he's fairly kibble-free. I mean, really, considering the robot that we're about to make out of this guy, he really has no kibble that you can see whatsoever. I mean, he looks like a robot lion. You know, of course, he's not supposed to look like a real lion, at least in this version of the figure. So as a robot lion, I'd say that they did an absolutely fantastic job here. Articulation in lion mode, I mean, you basically just have these little knee hinges that you can move, and you've got a foot on the ball joint, so you can get quite a bit of poses, at least, you know, with his legs. I mean, you could straighten him out and do things like that. I mean, you can't go crazy. I say you got quite a bit of poses. You can do a few things, but that's probably going to be about it. These back wings are kind of pegged in. In fact, they are pegged in, as you can see right here. Let's see if I can get that in there. Yeah, you can see that that peg sits inside of a slot on the back portion of the leg. So you're not going to get any movement of these wings. You don't have any head movement. There, you don't have any head movement. The arms, unfortunately, are pegged in. That is kind of unfortunate. I mean, it would have been nice to have some more arm articulation. You do have the front feet and paws that move. So in beast mode, you're not going to get anything crazy, you know, pose-wise out of them. But as just a sheer display piece of a lion on your shelf, 10 out of 10. Fantastic figure. I forgot to mention also this two-tone paint. It's not really two-tone. You've got a blue plastic bit, and then you kind of get this fleck, almost like a silver burst look as it moves into the full-on silver. So, I mean, it goes from a blue to a very sparkly look, and that's also the case on this back bit as well. So that's just fantastic. All kinds of robot pieces on the inside, in plastic molding of robot pieces, and looks like gears and things that would turn around as this guy moves. You've got some kind of in plastic, maybe some Cybertronian, I guess he wouldn't be Cybertronian, but some alien-like type symbols here, which is pretty neat. Again, you've got just lots of detail in the in-plastic molding. The see-through parts, which I don't mind on this figure at all, because it fits this mold just so well. Anyway, I think I've raved enough about his beast mode. Let's get Thundertron transformed. Oh, and actually, before we get there, you can also pose Thundertron without his foot to give him a peg leg in beast mode. Why would you do that? Well, because he's kind of a pirate, and in robot mode, he can be a peg leg, and I prefer him that way. So honestly, I'm thinking about leaving it in peg leg mode with the lion. Kind of curve it back in there. That's kind of a neat look, and again, you can put this on top in the port where we had his powerizer weapon. So, you know, but that's probably the way that I would display him in beast mode, and you'll get it here in just a minute. To get Thundertron transformed, it's basically a method in unpegging. So again, I mentioned that these back wings, and here's the peg on that, were pegged in to that slot right there. Same thing on the other side. Just kind of lift these up and out of the way. At this point, you can bring down the leg portion on both sides. Okay, you want to twist the entire leg around like that. Rinse and repeat on the other side. You don't need to do anything here because, again, you've got the pirate peg leg. Notice the difference in molding. You've got the gold and the silver, and it looks completely different, as if something happened to him in battle and he had this piece inserted. So, very cool. And then flip the toe around, or the foot around on the other side. From here, you want to start unpegging the top. And to do that, it's not hard. You've got these bits that are pegged in, and this is kind of what impedes the movement, as I mentioned. This part right here pegs into this guy against his body, and so you don't get any rotation here. So basically, you just want to unpeg that and do the same thing on the other side. You can pull these things down, the front beast legs, and these are all on ratchet joints. They're not the clicky ratchet joints, but you know, this piece is very, very tight, and kind of explode the thing out. When you do that, speaking of exploding out, this chest piece kind of opens up, and it really helps fill this figure in. And I love the in-plastic molding of this. I mean, you've got all these, like, what look like wires coming down here. They didn't have to do that, and it's awesome that they did. So well done, Hasbro. How many times have I said that lately? Not many. I know, I should be more appreciative. So anyway, you come onto the back, you lift this whole section up, you kind of bring that down, and it'll just sit there for now. You want to come back up to the front, lift this piece up like that, bring this whole section of the beast head down, and you want to get these guys up kind of behind the figure, and you want to just push this whole thing down, and it just sits like that. Okay, we're getting very close to the end of transformation, and while this has not been a difficult transformation, I love the way, I mean, it's just very satisfying for me, the way that this guy, you know, really comes together. He really does. Now his legs, you want to just push them in. Okay, no big deal there. Kind of bring these side pieces down. We can flip out the hands, and they've made it convenient. You've got a little tab that you can flick with your thumb. Bring the hands out. Bring those down, and just kind of turn them and get them in robot position. So you got to kind of bend them the other way when you do that. Okay, you want to take this little beast panels, as I call them, and it's on this double hinge, so it's just easy enough to bring them down and just kind of store them here at an angle. That allows you on the top of the figure to take these translucent blue pieces and just bring them down, exposing the head. Now the head you want to bring up, and it will click into place when you do that. It's not a very hard click, as you can hear. It's a very soft click, and that lets you know that it's up all the way. Then you've got this head crest piece. Now, in robot or in beast mode, it's all the way up, and you just kind of want to bring it down a little bit. You know, you could put it all the way down. I don't really like doing that. I kind of stick it like that. So that's his head. And really, to finish this guy up, you want to bring these guys up right here. And up here on the foot, you want to spin this around on the ball joint. Okay? Lift the claw straight up. And this is going to rest right over the shoulder pad. Do the same thing on the other side. Just spin it, bring it down, put the claw straight up, fold down this little triangle piece over the shoulder pads. On the back of the figure, you can pull this piece out, and you really do what you want with it. I mean, I kind of like to bring it out. It kind of gives it that pirate cape kind of look. So I like to leave it like that. Notice I have not reattached the foot. At this point, you're honestly ready to stand him up, pose him up, and what you have here is the very cool Starseeker Thundertron in his robot mode. This is an incredible figure. I mean, it's so unique in so many different ways. I love the way that he still has this peg leg, which again goes with this pirate theme. You know, it looks like he hurt it in battle and had this implant. I mean, it looks fantastic. Now, you can take this part and you can peg this onto the side of Thundertron's arm. And he can have a very cool claw-like weapon. But again, I hate the idea that it looks like it's his foot and he chooses not to use it. Because why would you do that? I mean, even someone who's is crazy cool as Thundertron, like why would you do that? So, not a big fan of that. I'm probably going to leave that off. However, I believe on the AllSpark forums, and I may have been somewhere else, I apologize if I got this wrong, and I don't have the name of the person that did it. I am not taking credit for this, but it's awesome, so I'm going to show it off. Somebody had the idea of painting little eyes on this foot joint, because guess what this looks like when you bend that over and you lift these parts up? He's a freaking parrot! And this is a pirate! So, this, to me, is incredible. Again, I take no credit for this. I'm sorry I don't have the name of the person that came up with this idea. But you, sir, are a genius. And he had some modifications done and actually took this part apart and made a very cool-looking sword and had this kind of be the pirate stand or the bird stand that sat up on his shoulder. As is, you can still kind of get this done if you put his arm out in pirate-like position. I'm sure you can find a better way to do it, but you can balance this guy up in the arm, even without any modifications, and it just looks wonderful. So I love Parrot mode. Thank you so much to the guy that ended up doing this, and give you full credit. If I can find your name, I'll put it in comments on the video. Other than that, what you have here is one of the coolest original-looking bots I've seen in a long time. Looking at this guy's face up close, I really love the way that this turned out. It's so different and unique. Not a big fan of facial hair on a robot. I don't really get that. I mean, maybe it's not facial hair, but wire. I mean, come on, it's a beard. And I'm not a big fan of that. But it looks great on this figure. Again, the pirate motif, it just fits. Besides the blue in the beard, he has the yellow or the gold bit, kind of the mustache part that comes down. His head is on a ball joint, so you can get some movement, but it is limited by this giant chest lion piece that's sitting here. The crest moves up and down, as I mentioned. You do have some light piping on the top. Let's see if this actually shines through. No. Not really getting. I can't tell if that's light piped or not. I mean, certainly the blue is in the back. But I'm thinking, let me turn down these lights for a second. Yeah, I don't believe that there's any light piping on this figure. That's a shame. If this guy had glowing red eyes, that would have been just freaking awesome. But it is what it is. Now, what I love about this is it kind of has this look like his beard is very long, like it drops down into the lion head and kind of spits itself out down here. So to me, it's like a big ZZ Top pirate beard. Awesome. If this guy were flipping a guitar around, even better. But whatever, let's not digress. You know, again, he looks very majestic and yet at the same time very pirate-like. Again, this gold trim on the arms it carried over from robot or from beast mode. His insignia is still on his back. Would have been nice to get it somewhere visible on front, but I'm not going to complain that much. This is such an awesome figure. Blue translucent plastic in the forearm. Some people were really bothered by this with Optimus Prime's RID version. On this figure, I see no issue with it at all. Blue fits the blue. It looks fantastic. You've got gold trim on the legs on top of the gray plastic. Down here on the legs themselves, again, these are molded very differently. Now, as you know, because you saw this, you can stick the parrot, or the foot, back on the peg. And that's the way we had it in lion mode to start this thing. And you can display this guy with two legs, and it works just fine like this. But to me, that takes a little bit away from the character of what this guy is supposed to be. So I will absolutely be displaying this guy peg-legged and all. Powerizer weapon, you know, you can put it on his forearm. It's just silly. I love this sword. Okay, I really do. But I don't like this on robot mode. You know, if you're going to stick it on anywhere, I guess what I would do is put one here, put the bird on the other side. I keep calling it the bird. Bird is the word. You can kind of bend these things in to kind of have it cover his arm, which is pretty cool. I do like that. That makes it look a little bit less like his foot. Now, there is a Dr. Wu sword that you can purchase, a third-party sword that I saw on TF Source, which looks freaking amazing with this guy. Again, I saw someone with that. That might have been PR. I'm not positive. But someone took a picture of this guy with the Dr. Wu sword, and it looked amazing. And that actually prompted me to spend 15 bucks and pre-order one with the blue diamond in the middle. And that's going to be this guy's weapon. And when I've got that on display, amazing. Articulation with this figure, I talked about the head. The shoulders are on a ball joint. You've got swivel here on the arm. You've got the movement here on the forearms. Fists move in due to transformation. No waist articulation, kind of a bummer, but I'm not sure how they could have done it. Got a ball joint in the leg. You got the swivel in the leg due to transformation, the knee bend. Feet are on ball joint. Peg doesn't move, but the peg is a peg. What are you going to do? On the back, you've got these pieces that you can kind of adjust to however you want to display it. Again, that's up to you, but I love the way this looks like a cape, like a pirate's cape. That's just amazing. So if you can't tell by the way I'm ranting about this guy, love this figure. This is probably the best figure that I've seen come around in a long time on a new main line. I mean, well done, Hasbro, and the designers that were involved in making this figure. Love to see this guy make television. Don't know if we will, but hey, you got Beast Hunter starting up, and he's a beast, so there's certainly an opportunity to introduce this guy. Probably do this whole sub-season of the Pirates, because again, they're not friendly with Autobots or Decepticons, according to the bio, and that could be a whole story arc in and of itself. Size comparison, there he is next to RID Optimus Prime, and, you know, that's a pretty decent scale. Here he is next to First Edition Optimus Prime. First Edition is quite a bit taller. And here he is next to First Edition Bulkhead. And Thundertron is taller than Bulkhead. I've got Thundertron's legs kind of curved up right now, so he's a good bit taller than Bulkhead and probably comes up a little bit, still below Optimus Prime, but not in a bad scale at all. So this guy scales really well. So the bottom line here, this figure is tremendous. If you see this figure in your local store, I picked this one up at Toys R Us. I mean, I don't think that Transformers fans today understand how good we have it right now. I mean, some of the figures have shrunken down in size, but the fact that you can find a figure like this inside of your local store as part of a main line of a Transformers series, just amazing. So I could not be more pleased. Beast mode, I really stick with the 10 out of 10 despite the lack of full articulation in the legs as just a shelf display piece. As far as the figure itself, 10 out of 10. I mean, this is a tremendous figure. This is probably up there with some of the best that we've seen in the Voyager Class figures of the Transformers Prime line, and really one of the best Voyager Class figures we've seen in any line in some time. First Edition Optimus and Bulkhead still kind of set that pinnacle. But just for the main line of a series of toy, like this guy is, Thundertron can do no wrong in my book. Highly, highly recommended. Well, thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. The support that I've gotten in the last 4 months has been amazing. I appreciate just everybody who's been supportive of this channel. Rate, comment, subscribe if you like what you see. And you can join in on the fun outside of these videos at facebook.com/eBEFOREi and twitter.com/e_before_i. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again real soon.